This book is 32 chapters of dense knowledge, but you're about to pull out all of the key takeaways in just a few minutes. The Obstacle is the Way offers a powerful framework inspired by Stoic philosophy, showing readers how to turn challenges into opportunities for growth, resilience, and lasting success. Let's have a productive life. Chapter 1. The Discipline of Perception. Perception is a lens, an incredibly powerful one, that determines how we interpret and respond to obstacles. Think about it. When you face a problem, is your immediate reaction frustration, or do you pause to assess it with clarity? This chapter reminds us that challenges are neither inherently good nor bad. They are neutral. What defines them is our reaction, shaped by perception. For example, two people facing the same setback may respond entirely differently. One sees a dead end, while the other sees an opportunity. Ryan Holiday tells us, "What matters most is not what these obstacles are, but how we see them, how we react to them, and whether we keep our composure." This mindset puts us in control. When we view challenges through a disciplined, objective lens, we unlock the ability to face them with confidence and focus. So, how can we start practicing this? First, reflect on your default reactions to setbacks. Are they helping you move forward or holding you back? Second, try detaching yourself emotionally from situations. What would an outsider see? Lastly, reframe obstacles as chances to grow and learn. Perception, ultimately, is something we can control. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 2. Recognize your power. We all face obstacles, but here's the good news. The power to respond lies entirely within us. Think about that. Our reactions are not dictated by external events, but by the choices we make. As Holiday notes, you will come across obstacles in life, fair and unfair, and you will discover time and again that what matters most is not what these obstacles are, but how we see them. When we focus on what is within our control, clarity and confidence replace frustration and helplessness. Personal agency becomes the bedrock of resilience. This idea mirrors the Stoic principle of dichotomy of control. Concentrate on what you can influence and let go of what you can't. To practice this, start by listing what you can and cannot control in a current challenge. Reframe difficult situations by focusing on actionable steps and actively release external worries. They're not worth your energy. Remember, when we focus our efforts on what's within our power, we maximize our ability to overcome. Chapter 3. Steady your nerves. When adversity strikes, steady nerves are your greatest ally. Emotional stability allows us to think clearly and make better decisions. As Ryan Holiday explains, real strength lies in the control, or, as Nassim Taleb put it, the domestication of one's emotions, not in pretending they don't exist. Panic, on the other hand, clouds judgment and leads to mistakes. Imagine an athlete preparing for a high-stakes competition. They don't just rely on talent, they train, simulate pressure, and focus on staying calm under fire. This principle applies to all of us. Preparation is key to steadiness. By anticipating challenges, we can prevent panic and foster emotional regulation. You can practice this by simulating stressful scenarios in small, manageable doses. Daily mindfulness exercises like deep breathing can also ground you in the present. Reflect on moments when you've panicked. What could have helped you steady your nerves? Emotional stability is not innate. It's a skill we can develop with deliberate effort. Chapter 4. Control your emotions. Unchecked emotions can be our downfall, leading to reactive and irrational decisions. This chapter reminds us that emotional control is a cornerstone of resilience. As Holiday puts it, anger and hatred are luxuries. They are weaknesses. Think about how many poor decisions stem from knee-jerk emotional responses rather than thoughtful consideration. Learning to pause and reflect before reacting is a skill that can transform how we handle adversity. For example, when a colleague criticizes you, instead of lashing out, you could take a moment to understand their perspective, or even use it as a learning opportunity. Gratitude is another powerful tool to counteract negative emotions. To strengthen this practice, identify your emotional triggers and develop strategies to manage them. Pause before reacting and ask yourself, is this response productive? Lastly, cultivate a gratitude habit. It shifts focus from what's wrong to what's right. Chapter 5. Practice objectivity. Objectivity is about seeing situations clearly, free from emotional bias or personal distortion. Epictetus advises, don't let the force of an impression when it first hits you knock you off your feet. Just say to it, hold on a moment, let me see who you are and what you represent. This observing eye sees the facts, while the perceiving eye adds unnecessary drama. Imagine looking at your challenges as if they were someone else's. Would you react the same way? Probably not. Practicing objectivity means separating facts from feelings and focusing on actionable truths. For example, a rejection at work is not necessarily a failure. It might just be an opportunity to improve or pivot. To develop this skill, start by pausing before reacting to emotional situations and asking, what's the objective truth here? Journaling can help you separate observations from reactions, revealing patterns of bias. With practice, objectivity becomes a powerful tool for clarity and progress. Chapter 6. Alter your perspective. One of the most transformative tools in facing challenges is the ability to shift your perspective. Often, obstacles seem overwhelming not because of their size or difficulty, but because of how we view them. Fear, for instance, is frequently a byproduct of misperception. When we break our fears apart and examine their root causes, we often find that they are less daunting than they initially appeared. As Holiday states, perspective is everything. This means that the way we interpret a problem determines whether it feels manageable or insurmountable. Historical examples bring this concept to life. Think of inventors, leaders, or entrepreneurs who faced adversity. They succeeded by seeing possibilities where others saw dead ends. Perspective is a choice, and this chapter emphasizes that changing your view can uncover hidden opportunities. Start by reframing fears. What's the worst-case scenario, and is it truly as bad as it seems? Study role models who overcame similar challenges and apply their lessons. By questioning assumptions, you'll uncover new ways to approach even the toughest problems. Chapter 7. Is it up to you? This chapter asks a fundamental question. What is within your control? The answer is simpler than we often realize. Our actions and reactions. So much energy is wasted on things we can't influence, like the opinions of others or unforeseen events. Ryan Holiday reminds us, to see an obstacle as a challenge, to make the best of it anyway, that is also a choice that is up to us. This mindset can shift your focus entirely, from frustration over what's out of your hands to empowerment over what is. When you center your energy on what you can control, you free yourself from unnecessary anxiety. Make a practice of listing controllable and uncontrollable factors in any given situation. For example, if you're stuck in traffic, you can't change the flow of cars, but you can control how you use the time. Maybe listen to an audiobook or practice deep breathing. This simple exercise not only clarifies priorities, but also conserves energy for productive action. By letting go of what you can't control, you create space to thrive. Chapter 8. Live in the present moment. The present moment is where all action happens. Too often, we're stuck ruminating on the past or worrying about the future, which only saps our focus and energy. Holiday explains, the implications of our obstacle are theoretical. They exist in the past and the future. We live in the present. This truth is liberating. The present is manageable, while regrets or anxieties are just distractions. Living in the present doesn't mean ignoring lessons from the past or planning for the future. It means anchoring your energy where it matters most. For instance, when tackling a daunting project, don't focus on its enormity. Instead, concentrate on the next actionable step. Practicing mindfulness is a great way to stay rooted in the now. Reflect on how much time you spend on what-ifs or should-haves and redirect that energy into fully engaging with the task at hand. By committing to one moment, one task at a time, you maximize clarity and productivity. Chapter 9. Think differently. Innovation and creativity are born from thinking differently. When we face obstacles, our first instinct is often to rely on conventional solutions. But what if those methods don't work? Holiday encourages us to remember there is always a countermove, always an escape or way through, so long as you keep thinking. This mindset opens the door to endless possibilities, even in seemingly impossible situations. Consider moments in history where breakthroughs came from challenging assumptions. The Wright brothers defied gravity because they refused to believe human flight was impossible. Similarly, when faced with personal challenges, ask yourself, what hasn't been tried yet? Regularly brainstorming unconventional solutions and studying how others innovated through obstacles can train your mind to see beyond limitations. Genius, as Holiday puts it, often really is just persistence in disguise. So keep thinking, keep challenging, and keep moving forward. Chapter 10. Finding the Opportunity. Every obstacle hides an opportunity. This chapter teaches us to adopt a mindset that actively seeks value in adversity. Holiday writes, "Just because your mind tells you that something is awful or evil or unplanned doesn't mean you have to agree. Obstacles force us to adapt, think creatively, and build resilience, all invaluable skills. For instance, a job rejection may feel devastating, but it could push you toward a better fit or inspire you to improve in ways you hadn't considered. Reflect on your own past setbacks. Were there hidden opportunities you couldn't see at first? Challenges are the crucibles where growth happens. To embrace this mindset, start by reframing setbacks as learning experiences. Practice gratitude even for difficulties, as they often lead to unexpected growth. By consistently looking for silver linings, you train yourself to see challenges not as barriers, but as stepping stones. Chapter 11. Prepare to act. Preparation is the foundation for effective action. When we prepare, we reduce uncertainty and build confidence in how we'll face challenges. Ryan Holiday reminds us, victory is reserved for those who are willing to pay its price, emphasizing that preparation is the price we must pay for success. Without it, even the best intentions can falter. Proper preparation involves planning, anticipating potential setbacks, and building the skills necessary to handle obstacles effectively. This process isn't about avoiding challenges, but about arming ourselves to meet them head-on. Think about moments in life where preparation has made all the difference. An exam you studied for, a presentation you rehearsed, those outcomes were likely stronger because of the effort put in beforehand. Action becomes meaningful when it's supported by preparation. To implement this, create a detailed plan for current challenges, including contingencies for unexpected issues. Dedicate time daily to developing relevant skills or knowledge. Finally, reflect on past failures. What gaps in preparation contributed to those outcomes, and how can you address them moving forward? Chapter 12. The Discipline of Action. Action is the bridge between where we are and where we want to be. While planning is essential, it must lead to movement. As Holiday notes, what is needed is not a miracle, but a real commitment to do the hard work. Action dispels fear and replaces hesitation with momentum. It's easy to get stuck waiting for the perfect moment, but progress rarely happens under perfect conditions. Instead, deliberate and consistent effort breaks barriers. The discipline of action reminds us that courage often manifests as simply starting. For example, if you've ever delayed tackling a daunting task, you know that starting often makes the challenge feel less intimidating. To build this habit, break your goals into manageable steps and commit to one step daily. Use routines to ensure consistent progress and reflect on where fear or hesitation has previously held you back. By addressing those barriers, you can commit to moving forward, one deliberate action at a time. Chapter 13. Get moving. Momentum doesn't come to us, it's something we create. Action, no matter how small, is the first step toward overcoming any obstacle. Ryan Holiday states, if you want momentum, you'll have to create it yourself right now by getting up and getting started. This is a reminder that waiting for the right conditions often leads to inertia, not progress. Fear and doubt are powerful, but they fade when met with forward motion. Consider someone starting a fitness journey. The first workout might be tough, but each day builds momentum, making future efforts easier. This applies to any challenge. Start where you are, even if conditions aren't ideal, and let that initial action fuel continued effort. Identify a small step you can take immediately toward your goal. Make progress a daily practice, even in increments, and commit to action regardless of doubts or fears. By moving, you'll find that challenges start to shrink in the face of your momentum. Chapter 14. Practice persistence. Persistence is about enduring when challenges don't yield easily. Holiday draws a distinction here. Persistence is an action. Perseverance is a matter of will. One is energy, the other endurance. Both are vital in facing obstacles. Persistence is the repeated effort, while perseverance is the mindset that sustains you through setbacks. Historical examples like Ulysses S. Grant at Vicksburg show us that relentless effort can break through even the toughest barriers. Consider Thomas Edison's journey in inventing the light bulb. He famously viewed each failed attempt not as a setback, but as a lesson in what didn't work. This chapter teaches us to see failure as a step toward success. Reflect on a current obstacle and commit to trying every viable approach until you overcome it. Create a mantra like persist and resist to remind yourself of the value of perseverance. Use setbacks not as reasons to quit, but as opportunities to reassess and refine your strategies. Chapter 15. Iterate. Iteration is the process of learning by doing and refining as you go. Progress is rarely linear. It's achieved through repeated attempts and adjustments. Holiday writes, "Failure shows us the way by showing us what isn't the way." This mindset frames failure as a necessary part of improvement. Each attempt, whether it succeeds or fails, provides valuable feedback that helps shape the next step. Think of entrepreneurs or creatives who revise their work countless times before achieving success. Iteration reduces the scale of failure and increases the likelihood of success with each attempt. Start small, test your ideas, and build on what works. Regularly assess your approaches to challenges, identifying what's effective and what needs adjustment. By embracing failure as feedback, you'll create a continuous cycle of growth and progress. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 16. Follow the process. When facing challenges, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer size of the task ahead. That's why focusing on the process, a structured step-by-step method, is so important. This chapter reminds us to break daunting problems into manageable parts, which not only reduces overwhelm, but also ensures steady progress. A great example comes from sports. As Holiday writes, "Don't think about winning the SEC championship. Don't think about the national championship. Think about what you needed to do in this drill, on this play, in this moment." This mindset shifts the focus from distant, uncertain outcomes to the immediate, actionable steps within your control. The key to success lies in committing to the process, not just the prize. Whether it's training for a marathon or tackling a complex project at work, incremental progress builds momentum. Start by breaking down large tasks into smaller, actionable steps. Each day, review your progress and recommit to the process. Resist the temptation to fixate on results. Instead, trust that by doing the work, success will follow. Remember, the process isn't just a path to the goal, it's the goal itself. Chapter 17. Do your job. Do it right. No matter how small or seemingly insignificant a task may appear, it deserves your full effort and attention. This chapter emphasizes the value of pride and diligence in everything you do. As Holiday says, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, and wherever we are going, we owe it to ourselves, to our art, to the world to do it well. Your approach to small tasks reflects your character and builds the habits that will determine your future success. After all, how you do anything is how you can do everything. Think of the small tasks in your daily life. Are you approaching them with integrity and care, or rushing through them? Treat each assignment as an opportunity to showcase your best work. This builds not just your skills, but also your reputation. Identify areas where you can improve your effort or precision and align your work habits with your long-term goals. By consistently delivering quality work, no matter the task, you're setting the stage for larger successes down the road. Chapter 18. What's right is what works. Pragmatism is a powerful mindset when it comes to overcoming obstacles. This chapter challenges us to prioritize results over rigid adherence to methods or traditions. Holiday advises, "Don't worry about the right way, worry about the right way." Sometimes, the most effective solutions are unconventional or unexpected. By staying flexible and resourceful, you can navigate challenges in ways that perfectionism might prevent. For example, think of moments where improvisation saved the day. Whether it's finding a workaround for a project or adapting to unforeseen changes, what matters is progress, not perfection. Reflect on areas where striving for ideal outcomes has slowed you down, and instead shift your focus to practical solutions. Challenge yourself to think creatively, asking not "what should I do?" but "what will work?" Pragmatism frees you to explore new paths to success. Chapter 19. In praise of the flank attack. When faced with a challenge, the instinct may be to tackle it head-on, but sometimes an indirect approach, the flank attack, proves far more effective. This chapter encourages flexibility and creativity in problem-solving. As Holiday writes, never attack where it is obvious. Instead, attack where little danger is apprehended, where the enemy will be unprepared and vulnerable. By thinking differently and exploiting unexpected opportunities, you can often succeed where brute force would fail. Consider historical examples, such as military strategies or business innovations, where a flank approach turned the tide. For instance, smaller companies often outmaneuver larger competitors by focusing on niche markets rather than competing directly. Reflect on past successes where flexibility led to solutions. Ask yourself, how can I approach this challenge from a new angle? Practice analyzing problems from multiple perspectives to uncover openings where none seemed apparent. Creativity and adaptability are your greatest strengths in overcoming strong opposition. Chapter 20. Use obstacles against themselves. Sometimes the most effective way to overcome an obstacle is not by attacking it head-on, but by using its energy against itself. This chapter introduces the concept of leveraging adversity with strategies akin to judo, using the obstacle's force to your advantage. As Holiday writes, sometimes you overcome obstacles not by attacking them, but by withdrawing and letting them attack you. This approach can neutralize the obstacle's impact while positioning you for success. For instance, Gandhi's civil disobedience leveraged the British Empire's overreach, turning oppression into a moral victory for India. The lesson here is patience and strategy. Not every challenge requires immediate action. By stepping back and analyzing the situation, you can often find ways to let forces play themselves out or redirect their energy to your benefit. Think of a time when waiting allowed a conflict to resolve itself or gave you clarity. To practice this, identify situations where restraint might be more effective than reaction. Analyze how you can redirect challenges to work in your favor. Sometimes, doing less or taking an indirect approach yields the greatest results. Chapter 21. Channel your energy. Adversity brings with it an emotional charge, but what you do with that energy matters. This chapter teaches us to channel emotions, especially negative ones, into productive actions. Marcus Aurelius offers timeless wisdom. When jarred, unavoidably by circumstance, revert at once to yourself and don't lose the rhythm more than you can help. This discipline of self-control allows us to transform setbacks into resilience and growth. Take the example of Arthur Ashe, who faced racial discrimination but turned his focus toward becoming a world-class athlete. Adversity can harden you or, as Holiday notes, loosen you up and make you better if you let it. The key is redirecting emotional energy into constructive efforts. Start by identifying your emotional triggers and practicing restraint. Reflect on past challenges where adversity led to personal growth, and visualize how current frustrations can be transformed into motivation. Energy, when directed well, becomes a powerful force for progress. Chapter 22. Seize the offensive. When life presents a crisis, the natural reaction might be to hesitate. But this chapter reminds us that boldness and proactivity often turn adversity into opportunity. Holiday states, "The best men are not those who have waited for chances, but who have taken them." Consider moments in history when bold action during a crisis led to transformational results. Barack Obama's "A More Perfect Union" speech during his 2008 campaign is a powerful example of turning a challenge, racial tensions, into a unifying and strategic moment. The essence of this lesson is to act decisively. Waiting for ideal conditions often results in missed opportunities. Identify a current crisis in your life and brainstorm ways to use it as a springboard for growth. Practice bold decision-making in smaller situations to build the confidence needed for larger challenges. By reframing crises as teachable moments, you can turn setbacks into the foundations of future success. Chapter 23. Prepare for none of it to work. Even the best laid plans don't always lead to success, and that's okay. This chapter encourages us to accept failure as a possibility, not as a defeat, but as part of the process. Seneca offers a sobering yet empowering reminder. not to give in to adversity, not to trust prosperity, and always take full note of fortune's habit of behaving just as she pleases. The real strength lies in trying, regardless of the outcome. Effort and learning are never wasted, even when the results aren't as expected. Consider the lessons gained from past failures, how they shaped your next attempts and made you more resilient. To embody this mindset, reflect on recent failures and identify what they taught you. Develop contingency plans for your goals so that setbacks don't feel like endings but detours. Ultimately, resilience is about showing up, learning, and trying again. Chapter 24. The discipline of the will. Will is a powerful internal force. It's what sustains us when everything external seems to be falling apart. This chapter introduces will as the ultimate internal discipline. Unlike action or perception, will isn't about doing or seeing, it's about enduring. Holiday explains, will is our internal power, which can never be affected by the outside world. It is our final trump card. True will isn't flashy. It's about quiet resilience, humility, and flexibility in the face of challenges. Consider moments when life felt overwhelming, perhaps a health crisis or a professional setback. What kept you moving forward wasn't just strategy or effort, but an inner strength to endure. Will is cultivated over time through small acts of self-discipline and perseverance. Reflect on how well you maintain composure during adversity and practice resilience daily. Simple routines, like completing difficult tasks without complaint, can build this quiet strength. By cultivating humility and flexibility, you transform will into a steady force to overcome life's inevitable challenges. Chapter 25. Build your inner citadel. Imagine having an internal fortress, a place of strength and resilience that protects you from life's unpredictability. This is your inner citadel, and as Holiday notes, no one is born with an inner citadel. It must be built and actively reinforced. This chapter reminds us that the world isn't going to soften for us. Instead, we must toughen ourselves up through preparation, discipline, and a willingness to face challenges head-on. Building your inner citadel means embracing the discomfort of growth. Think about athletes training for a championship. They don't just prepare for the easy moments, they prepare for the hardest ones. Similarly, reflect on how past difficulties have strengthened you. Establish routines that challenge both your mind and body, whether through physical exercise, mental focus, or emotional endurance. These habits fortify your inner citadel, making you more self-reliant and confident when difficulties arise. By actively reinforcing this internal strength, you're ready for whatever life throws your way. Chapter 26. Anticipation. Thinking negatively. While optimism can be a powerful motivator, there's also great value in anticipating potential setbacks. This chapter explores the Stoic practice of negative visualization, where imagining worst-case scenarios helps us prepare for them. As Holiday writes, by imagining what could go wrong, we become less afraid of it and more prepared for it. Far from being pessimistic, this approach transforms fear into proactive problem-solving. For example, if you're about to launch a new project, consider the potential obstacles. What if funding falls through? What if the timeline shifts? By identifying these challenges in advance, you can develop strategies to address them before they occur. Reflect on past failures to see where better preparation could have made a difference. Create contingency plans and rehearse your responses to potential difficulties. Negative visualization isn't about dwelling on failure. It's about ensuring you're ready to face challenges with calm and confidence. Chapter 27. The Art of Acquiescence. Acceptance is a skill that requires practice and intention. This chapter emphasizes that acquiescence is not resignation, but a way to redirect energy toward what can be influenced. Holiday quotes the Stoics, "The fates guide the person who accepts them and hinder the person who resists them. Fighting against what we cannot control only wastes energy and creates frustration. Instead, accepting reality frees us to focus on meaningful action." Consider Thomas Edison, who turned his deafness into an advantage by claiming it reduced distractions. Similarly, President Jefferson turned his speech impediment into a source of discipline and preparation. Constraints often force creativity and resilience. Reflect on aspects of your life where resistance is holding you back. Are there circumstances you can't change that might instead inspire growth? Practice identifying where acceptance can redirect your energy toward productive action. By channeling your efforts effectively, you can use constraints to uncover unexpected strengths. Chapter 28. Love everything that happens. Amor fati. Amor fati is a profound philosophy that challenges us to love our fate, not just the good parts, but the difficult moments too. Holiday draws on Friedrich Nietzsche, who said, "My formula for greatness in a human being is amor fati," that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. This idea encourages us to embrace life as it is, rather than wishing for it to be something else. Even adversity, when viewed through this lens, becomes an opportunity to grow, learn, and improve. Consider Thomas Edison's response when his laboratory burned down. He calmly noted, "There is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start anew." This exemplifies the power of loving one's fate, even in moments of loss. To practice this, start by cultivating gratitude for your challenges and reflecting on the opportunities they provide. Reframe setbacks as necessary steps toward your personal growth. By accepting and even loving what life throws at you, you transform obstacles into fuel for greatness. Chapter 29. Perseverance. Perseverance is the steady application of effort, even when the road is tough. Holiday reminds us of Winston Churchill's declaration, "Gentlemen, I am hardening on this enterprise." This quote captures the essence of perseverance, finding strength in adversity and pressing forward no matter what. Determination, as Holiday explains, is invincible. The stories of Odysseus navigating his way home or Ulysses S. Grant's dogged campaigns illustrate how relentless effort turns obstacles into stepping stones. Think about times when perseverance has helped you succeed despite setbacks. Perhaps it was finishing a degree, overcoming a health challenge, or rebuilding after a loss. These moments show that endurance, more than talent or luck, often determines success. To cultivate perseverance, set long-term goals and commit to consistent progress, even when results seem slow. Reflect on past experiences where persistence led to unexpected success and build habits that reinforce your endurance. Perseverance, in the end, is what helps you outlast obstacles and achieve meaningful growth. Chapter 30. Something bigger than yourself. This chapter highlights the resilience and strength that come from serving a cause greater than yourself. Holiday shares the story of James Stockdale, a Navy pilot who endured imprisonment and torture by focusing on his mission to support his fellow prisoners. "A man's job," as Leroy Percy once said, "is to make the world a better place to live in, so far as he is able." When we align our efforts with a purpose beyond personal gain, challenges become more bearable and our sense of direction sharpens. Think about the moments when you've been motivated by something bigger than yourself, a family member you wanted to support, a community project, or a professional goal that served others. These experiences demonstrate the power of selflessness in building resilience. Identify a cause or mission that aligns with your values and incorporate acts of service into your daily life. By connecting to something larger, you gain a deeper sense of purpose and the strength to face any adversity. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Chapter 31. Meditate on your mortality. Mortality is often a topic we avoid, yet acknowledging it can bring incredible clarity and focus to our lives. The Stoics embraced this concept through the practice of memento mori, or remember that you will die. Holiday writes, "Let each moment be an opportunity to live fully, knowing that time is finite." When we reflect on the impermanence of life, we're reminded to prioritize what truly matters and to act with urgency and intention. Consider how often trivial worries consume your energy. Meditating on mortality shifts your perspective, encouraging gratitude and focus. Set aside time daily to reflect on life's impermanence. Use this awareness to identify what matters most and let go of distractions. By embracing death not as something to fear, but as a motivator, you live more fully in the present, cherishing the time and opportunities you have. Chapter 32. Prepare to start again. Every ending is also a beginning. This chapter encourages us to view failure not as a conclusion, but as a chance to start anew. As Holiday notes, the end is never the end. It's just another opportunity to begin. Failure is a natural part of growth and, when embraced, provides valuable lessons and insights for future attempts. The key is readiness, a willingness to pick up the pieces and try again. Think about a time when you had to rebuild after a setback. Perhaps it was launching a new career after job loss or rebuilding a relationship. These experiences demonstrate the power of persistence. Reflect on past failures and identify the lessons they taught you. Develop a mindset that values resilience over immediate success and prepare yourself emotionally for new beginnings. With each restart, you bring greater wisdom and insight, ensuring continued progress and growth. In life, obstacles are inevitable, but how we perceive, respond to, and endure them defines our path forward. The principles in this book remind us that setbacks are not barriers, but stepping stones to greater strength and understanding. By mastering perception, committing to action, and cultivating inner resilience, we can transform adversity into an advantage. Ultimately, this book teaches us that the way through life's challenges is not to avoid them, but to embrace and overcome them with purpose and grace.